Welcome to the Elements of Spirit readings for the week of December 10th, 2017. This is the reading for the element of water, which includes the sun signs of Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. The ether reading this week, the ether affirmation, was all about when I see something, I say something. When I see something, I say something. When I see something, I say something. Speaking to the need for your personal cultivation of truth, values, what hurts, what feels good, just accepting how you feel about things so that when you see something that is out of alignment with how you feel about things, you speak up. The idea is that right will win, the righteous will prosper, but wrong might win first. Depending on how hard wrong is being fought for or how hard wrong is being expressed. Who's right? Who's wrong? Well, we can't really say matter-of-factly, objectively, because everybody is allowed to believe that they're right. The idea here is that right will prosper, right will win, right will prevail, but it might not be right away, because there might be more fighting for wrong and not enough speaking up for the right. The idea here is that if you do work for yourself and then speak about it, you create the opportunity for communication to occur between individuals, for change to occur between individuals, between groups, but none of that happens, and none of that happens quickly if you don't say anything, if you don't say anything or do anything about it. And so the reading this week is affirming, we're not even getting to what do you do about it. We're just at a point where the read is saying, no, especially if you don't do anything about it, you got to say something about it. You got to speak up. You got to say something, say something, say something. We've had this message in different ways. It's really interesting this week because it comes from where there's smoke, there's fire, right? State. It's like all the problems are real, all the solutions are valid, right should win, but not if wrong is fought for harder. It will still win, right will still win, but it will take longer. So when I see something, I say something is the affirmation. Something that is out of alignment with my truth. It's the best we can do. But if you don't say anything, nobody hears you, the truth doesn't echo, nothing has changed, no communication occurs, and so on, and so on, and so on. So interesting for the water signs. It's on the tip of your nose. It's on the tip of your tongue. Look harder at yourself until you see the change you are being in the world. So there's something here which is like, don't forget to include yourself, right? Be inclusive of yourself in the glory, and most importantly, there's something self-esteemy behind this here this week, guys. That's like, look a little harder for something that you really love about yourself. Look a little harder. Just look a little harder. It just feels like there's something that you're missing about yourself, or maybe everything that you're missing about yourself. It almost feels like your most obvious contribution is the one taken most for granted. We'll see. I think this is the affirmation. Okay, interesting. So even in terms of, we said in the fire reading a moment ago that we were talking not about conflict resolution, but at least conflict management and stuff that comes up during the holidays and, you know, conversations and conflicts and things that come up during the holidays. There seems to be a message behind all of the readings this week of like, why, I think I said it in one of the previous readings this week, like that I'm over obligatory gift giving. There's something here that I've been questioning. Like, what about this decorum thing that says we're not supposed to talk about religion and politics and all that stuff? Like a dinner party, whatever. I fully believe it because it doesn't necessarily accomplish the intention of the dinner party, right? To talk about politics and religion and hardcore, you know, conflict creating subjects. But the idea of the message this week is where there's smoke, there's fire, right? If you see something, like when you see something, you best say something, because there could be like a massive wildfire behind the smoke that you see. And just because you think someone else is going to call it out doesn't mean they will. And you lose 1,000 acres because you didn't say anything. So there seems to be, behind all of the messages this week, something compelling us to maybe not respond to decorum quite so much. Again, whatever your beliefs might be, you know, plenty of people are screaming their beliefs in really toxic, you know, wild ways. And my personal belief is that doesn't mean you need to scream back, but it does mean you need to express with more fuel behind you, with more of this unconditional love fuel behind you. So what I'm about to give you, which is the affirmation for the water signs this week, I am already who, where, and what I need to be. Let's talk about why. Okay. So it says, like, if you're going toe to toe in this quote unquote holiday season in which, you know, you're going to be meeting people, collaborating with people, or colliding with people that maybe you don't necessarily always talk to at parties or family gatherings, or parties that are family gatherings, right? Parties with families that you don't normally gather with. Let's talk about why is really cool, because that reconnects you to the world. But there's a reorientation before that, which is I am already who, where, and what I need to be. This also speaks to what I've been saying since last week about the retrograde cycle and reasonable expectations going through it. Sure, I know, water, brethren, and sistren, always more change, always more transformation, always more flow that can be happening, always more refinement of truth, whatever. But like, why? Why do you have to keep changing so hard? If you change between now and the end of the year, by all means, like, enjoy and do. But what we're saying here is, rather than thinking that you have to change, or that you need to improve, or that you got to get better, or that you got to do something differently, affirming, I am already who, where, and what I need to be, sets you in this present moment. It's a very basic bitch moment. It's a very root chakra moment where you draw that circle around yourself and you say, for better or worse, this is where I come from. This is where I am. This is where I think I'm going, right? But the idea here is by rallying and saying, I'm already who, where, and what I need to be. Let's talk about why. This gives you an empowered stance to come from when engaging the material that you've seen and said something about. When I see something, I say something, right? Whatever imbalance, whatever injustice, whatever is out of alignment that you are contributing your personal voice to in the name of, you know, honoring what you sense and feel within yourself, finding a magical bridge, right, to communicate that personal truth freely in the midst of the collective, along the waves of unconditional spiritual love for all, inclusivity, etc., etc., etc. I am already who, where, and what I need to be. I'm coming from the empowered stance that I'm fine. So let's talk about why I'm aligned. And now that I've expressed, no, bro, you can't just say that anymore. Here's why. So trying to push through the conversation, and for us, you know, spilled milk, ambulance, water signs, hypersensitive, extra sensitive, extremely exquisitely attuned with sensitivity, to the point where we might speak up and say something and be like, ow, what you said back to me, that hurt, and I don't want to talk about it anymore, and I'm out. I'm guilty. Do it all the time. I'm like, rah, and then someone's like, boo, and I'm like, never mind, I don't want to talk. The idea is like, no, presume that for better or worse, you're coming from not necessarily the right place, right? Like the fire sign's got like a little bit of, that's why I put this necklace on, because the fire sign's got this vibe of like, lead with your sternum, lead with your high heart, lead with your unconditional love. Know that you're calibrated towards unconditional love. The idea with you guys is like, bitch, this is how it is. I am who I am. I am already who, where, and what I need to be. Whether I'm right or wrong, it's how I am. I'm open to discussion, but let's talk about why. Let's talk about why I am the way I am. Let's talk about why you are the way you are. Let's not just talk about the who, where, whats. Let's talk about the whys. Okay? How is constant communication, post-healing explorations, on the wings of on the wings of love, on the wings of rose quartz. Okay, I love you. Thank you for listening. See you next week.